Good morning, class. What we're going to talk about today are different types of graphs and graphing data. And so we're going to start off with one that you may not have seen before, what's called a stem plot. So a stem plot is a simple kind of bar graph. It's used for dealing with quantitative continuous data, where you've got kind of a lot of different kind of data values and you want to get an idea of how that data fits together. Okay? And so I've got some data up here. So this is quantitative continuous data. There's lots of different values. So these are the ages of American presidents when they were inaugurated. So whenever they came into office, how old were they? Okay. And so if you just look at this data, even though it's in order, you may kind of be able to see some things. If you look at it, you could say, okay, well, most of them were in their 50s when they were inaugurated. You can see a lot of these numbers are in their 50s, but you can't get a good kind of feel of what the data looks like. Okay, so what we do in a stem plot, or also called a stem and leaf plot, is you treat each number as kind of two pieces. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to treat the last digit of a number is going to be called the leaf, and all of the rest of the number is going to be called the stem. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to organize numbers by stems and then write out all the different leaves associated with that stem. Okay, so let me explain. If I just show you this, it makes it a lot simpler. So, for example, the number 42. If we take 42, the 2 is the leaf, the last digit is the leaf, the 4 is the stem. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put a 4 over here for our stem, and then we're going to write out all the different leaves that are associated to that stem in different numbers. So 2 is one of them, but 3 is also associated to that same stem of 4. 6 appears twice. 7 appears twice. 8 and 9 twice. Okay? So this gives you, and actually I'm going to rewrite these a little bit smaller because otherwise I'm going to run out of space. That's better. Okay? So we've got the stem 4, and then we've got all of the different leaves associated to that particular stem written out. Okay? And so what this gives us is kind of a bar graph of the values that all start with a 4, everything in the 40s. Similarly, if we do this for the 50s, and this one's going to be a lot larger, right? We're going to have 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8. So that's all the 50s. Right? So I've got the stem 5 and then all of the different leaves associated with that stem. Similarly for 6, this one's a little bit shorter. 6 gives me 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 4, 5, 8, 9, and then 7 gives me 70. Okay? So this is a simple type of graph. Okay? It's pretty easy to make. So the stem, the leaves are always the last digits of each number, and the stem is everything else. Okay, so if you had 3-digit numbers, so like if you had 457, if you put that into a stem and leaf plot, you'd have a stem of 45 and a leaf of 7. Everything that's not the last digit goes into the stem. Okay? So, like I said, this is a simple kind of bar chart, and we're going to talk about bar graphs or bar charts next. It's also a simple type of what's called a histogram. Okay? And it's used for quantitative continuous data. Okay, so those are kinds of the things to know about a Stemplot. So what the Stemplot is for is to give us an idea kind of very quickly and easily of what the data looks like. So you can see here from looking at the numbers, it can be a little tough to see, but you can see very quickly from looking at this graph that most presidents were in their 50s when they were inaugurated. Then, kind of about evenly scattered kind of in the 40s and the 60s. Um, Presidents definitely are toward the older end when they're not inaugurated, right? So most of them were 54 or up, right? So you can kind of see all of that from this data just from looking at this stem plot. So that's what they're for. That's how they're used. They're pretty easy to create.